All right. Welcome back, everybody, to All Things Rangers. We have some breaking news for you, something that is bringing lots of delights to Mr. Anthony LaRocco, who is up there in the top left or top right. I don't know if this is mirrored at the moment. And as always, I am joined by Mr. John Filkowski.
Zoinks.
So, Anthony, let's get right into it. The New York Islanders acquire Kyle Palmieri and Travis Zajac. So that's what the huge part is in my mind. For forwards, Greer, Jost, and the Islanders' first-round pick in 2021, a fourth-round pick in 2022. And is there any more to that?
No. You got it.
Okay. So take it away.
Yeah, so, this deal is, I know we were talking about earlier when we recorded that the Islanders were going to do something big. I said Lou believes in his team. He was going to go all in. Kyle Palmieri, as we all know, has been scratched for the last 2 games. He's been linked to the Islanders, the Bruins. He's born in Smithtown, so he has Long Island roots. It fits, and he's a goal scorer. As I mentioned before when, we were talking about needle movers, I mentioned how Palmieri, although he's not like I guess you call it like a sexy name like Taylor Hall, he's in the last 5 seasons, he hasn't scored less than 24 goals. That's the model of consistency. He's a sniper. He'll help. Travis Zajac, it's funny. I think Philk and I talked about this a while back, but he was originally supposed to be in the Andy Green trade last year at the Islanders, but he wouldn't waive his no move because at the time he'd said that he loved New Jersey and he wanted to be a Devil for the rest of his career. So it's interesting that the change of heart, I guess maybe, seeing the run the Islanders went on in the conference finals last year and how successful they've been so far this year, and seeing his buddy Andy Green, he probably felt, hey, why not take a chance, But yeah, the inclusion of him it's funny because he's a center, and the Islanders are strong up the center of the ice. As we all know, Barzal, Nelson, Pajot, Cizikas. So, adding Zajac to the fold it's just gives them so much depth. But what I also think it means is that he's going to move to wing, and he's going to play on the left side of Pajot and Wallstrom, and having another defensively responsible center on that line is going to make them even harder to play against. Because Pajot as it is shuts players down, and having a guy like Zajac, Pajot gets tossed out of the draw, Zajac's there. So it's great depth. It's fantastic. And, they gave up 2 minor leaguers in Mason Jopes and AJ Greer, so that's nothing. Their first round pick is going to be, 25 to 31 maybe if they're lucky, if they were to win the cup. So
basically a second round pick anyway.
Yeah, basically, yes. So sorry, my wife just got home. The dogs are excited to see her,
and as well they should be excited.
Sorry, it's not my wife. It's my stepdaughter. Madeline just got dropped off.
Well, in this case, they're probably excited about this deal as well. John, by the way, you were mentioning the needle this afternoon, and it'll be on the video I'm about to post and the video I'm going to post tomorrow. But how much does this move the needle now? Because it was originally this, and it was this.
Yeah, it was like this for Palmieri, I would say like that, but it goes a little further like that. And not really down all the way down there yet, but like I would say right about there. Yeah, like I said to Anthony, and I said this to you too, it just, Palmieri was a good move on its own. It was, I think I told you guys that he was the best than Taylor Hall. I didn't think Taylor Hall would be able to buy into Trotz's system. I didn't know how he would fit there. I didn't think it was a good idea. But Kyle Palmieri, on the other hand, is a better fit for the Islanders, plays the exact game they want. But the inclusion of Travis Zajac is really what kind of moves it up for me, because they went out and got that extra depth piece that they needed and got it all in one trade, and they gave up almost nothing but a first rounder. And a first rounder in what's going to be a pretty weak, you know what? I don't want to say weak draft, because it's got some good talents in it. It's just the top high end talents aren't there in this draft. So, I mean, if I wanted to give up a draft in either the last year's draft or this year's draft, I'd rather give it up in this year's draft. And the Islanders, if they go deep like Anthony said, that's going to be a later pick. So you're giving up almost a second-round pick. Technically a first, but almost a second-round pick for what's going to be two players. Zajac, he has years left on his deal, right? Or is he a UFA as well?
I think he's a UFA. I'd have to look that up. I didn't think because if he has term left, that makes it difficult next year for
Islanders if he has term left. But
I'm on the Zajac.
I know that he was. I know that, like Anthony said, because he told me this last year when the Green deal happened, and he was right on top of it. He actually got the information from an inside source who we won't name. But
I just looked. He's done. He's a free agent at the end of this year.
So it's two rentals. Yeah. You gave up essentially a first-round pick and a conditional fourth for two rentals, which is really good. So, if that's what it's going to come down to, they took what was looking like the seller's market and turned it into a steal for them. Good on Lou. I think Lou got Zajac to move because Lou has the pull. I think Palmieri going with him actually helps because he's got multiple guys on the team that he's familiar with, that he's friends with. And I think Zajac wants the chance of the cup. And like you said, Lou made this move because he feels that this team is capable of winning it all. And that's what GMs and coaches do when those teams are in those positions. I think Zajac is probably in on the fact too. I'm going to tell you right now, I think Zajac plays center and Pajot goes over to wing because I know Pajot played wing in Ottawa. So that's what I think. I could be wrong there, but that's what I think.
Either way, the Islanders got center depth in spades now.
Yeah.
They got center depth on the wings. They might as well be like Team Canada with the amount of center depth that they got.
All right, now.
Sorry, what, John?
I said pushing it.
Let's also just mention, as we're just looking at the deal at first, you say, okay, well, clearly, Lou, the Islanders won. But he also got New Jersey to retain 50%.
Which is
of salary retention. That helps the Islanders a lot because what that enables them to do now is they could also now pick up like a depth defenseman just in case, Dobson was out with COVID and they had to put Aho and Hickey in for a while. So now with the salary retention there, they could pick up a cheap depth defenseman. It doesn't have to be someone earth-shattering like John Merrill or just a depth defenseman, and they could afford that now. So,
yeah,
and awesome. Kudos to Lou.
This is a huge coup for them so far. I'm going to use the word "so far" because now Washington's got to respond. Pittsburgh's got to respond. Which is the one that blinks first? And Boston, yeah.
Like I said, this was going to be a seller's market unless there were names out there in which we didn't know were available. But this is a fleecing for the Islanders. There's no around it. Lou absolutely took. Fitzpatrick is the general manager there. Fitzgerald, Tom Fitzgerald.
Tom Fitzgerald, yeah.
Yeah.
Who was the assistant coach last year.
Yeah, he took Fitzgerald out to the woodshed on this one. Not only Fitzgerald's just inexperienced, or this is all he thought he could actually get for Palmieri alone. Good on Lou, but I thought Palmieri probably could have gotten at least second and a good prospect with it. If you would have told me that Zajac was going too, I thought there would have been more. Kind of reminds me of the JT Miller and Ryan McDonough at Tampa Bay trade in 2018. The Rangers just did not get enough for it. But, we'll see what happens. If the Islanders win a cup out of this, then you're looking at this as one of the biggest deals in team history. I did say this to my uncle who was just texting me about it before. Lou Lamorillo, like I said, went out and made the move because he thought that this team had the ability to win it all. Garth Snow would have never made this move. Not in a million. Not in a million.
No. And John, you mentioned maybe it's Fitzgerald's inexperience, and I think this is he just took over on I even is he also might even still be an interim tag. I'm not positive on that, but
no,
either way,
they gave him the job last year.
He did a good job. Okay, so he's a new GM. This is a classic case of Lou Lamorillo, Wily vet, one of the, he actually just tied Glenn Sather with the Islanders win the other night for most wins as a GM. So you're talking, an elite general manager taking advantage of a young general manager maybe, and you can kind of see it clearly in this deal right here. So,
yeah, that's why I said that.
But you're right. I would have expected if they were going to get Palmieri, like Kiefer Bellows or Bodie Wild would have had to have been in the deal. Maybe even Samuel Bolduc, which I wouldn't have liked either. But the fact that he kept those three guys and just gave up essentially AHL career guys it's big. It's big for the team.
Well, also I have to say in the Tom Fitzgerald case, he definitely sold way quickly on this one. If you waited for Taylor Hall to fall, then maybe the asking price the price for Palmieri goes up.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to get final thoughts on this trade and let everybody get back to their lives and your daughters. But unfortunately, we're going to have to start with Phil first. Phil, your final thoughts on this trade?
Fleecing. I mean, it's just a fleecing. It's like I said, Lou, the Hall of Fame general manager, one of the best ever, just took the young Padawan to school and absolutely destroyed him in this. So, I mean, like I said, needle moving names, no, but it addresses two areas of need that were like really, really, really important for the Islanders. And you know what? Like I said, if this deal gets them a cup, you're looking at this deal in one of the biggest deals in history. I mean, everybody points towards Butch Goring because he was the last piece of that dynasty. This is probably going to be the second biggest deal in the history of the team.
I'm going to say that this is definitely the first shot across the bow. We're going to see those dominoes fall to other teams in the East. Washington's got to respond. Pittsburgh's got to respond. I mean, we obviously know Florida is in on Taylor Hall, but does this make Pittsburgh a little bit more desperate? And last but not least, we got to go to our resident Islander boy.
Well, what I'll say is I'll echo John, fleecing, but what's also, I think, a huge point that I want to make is, Travis Zajac and Kyle Palmieri both had no trade protection, and it's nice to finally see players waiving their clauses to go to the New York Islanders. 10 years ago, that would have never happened, and it's all thanks to Scott Malkin and John Ledecky for hiring Lou, for getting Trotz and changing the culture and building this team into something Islander fans can be proud of again. As far as the trade itself, it gives them a scoring threat to replace Lee. Palmieri, like I said, he's a 25 goal plus guy. He's good on the power play, so it'll help there. And it gives them options. You can assume that they're just going to plug Palmieri on the line with Barzal and Eberle. But what this allows them to do is, one, get Komarov off, and but they could also now move Beauvillier up to the top line with Barzal and Eberle, who he's had chemistry with, and then plug Palmieri in with Nelson and Bailey, and you could then Zajac still lands on the third line. So they have a lot of different options they could do now. Sure, they can put Palmieri with Eberle and Barzal, which I'm interested to see if that's what Trotz is going to do, but it gives them so much flexibility now with the combinations. He really has a lot of options he could do, and I'm very curious to see, where in which direction that leads. So, but I'll actually ask Phil a question. Would you say that you think Palmieri should just play with Barzal because he's a sniper, or do you think they should move Beauvillier back up to that top line?
I mean, you know what? It was a good point that you brought up about the chemistry. I probably think that due to the fact that you're bringing in two different guys and getting them acclimated quickly, I don't know if I would want to put all that pressure on Palmieri to gel with Barzal and Eberle. So you could bring him in, and because he's not he's not a surefire top. Like you didn't just acquire Patrick Laine and you have to put him on your top line. Otherwise, you look stupid for bringing him in to play second line with a lesser center. So you could put Beauvillier back with Barzal and Eberle, and that line could definitely work. And then you could put him Palmieri with Nelson and Bailey, like you said. And I think that line will play well enough together. I think there's Bailey's obviously the playmaker on that line.
Mm-hmm.
A little more of a pass and shoot type guy.
Yeah.
He can go back and forth. And Palmieri's the obvious sniper. So you need 3 guys like that. Remember, like in the old in the EA NHL games in like the early mid 2000s, where they would have like the chemistry things, like in six, where you put the right 3 guys together, the chemistry would go up to +3. That's what I think that is. So I think that line would probably work pretty well together, and I think the other line, like you said, that has chemistry before, would be a good top line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mark,
all right, Anthony, final word.
Yeah, the last thing I'll leave you guys with is now, do these guys go in the lineup? Not necessarily tomorrow against the Flyers. I mean, they're coming in from New Jersey, but New Jersey, New York have basically no quarantine restrictions anymore. But so do you think we will see them against the Rangers for their first game at the Coliseum on Friday?
I'm going to say no. I say they play tomorrow night. They want to get them in the lineup as soon as possible.
I'm just not sure what the NHL's quarantine rules are. If they follow like the states where they could just come in and play, or they have their own system where they, even though they're coming from Jersey, they still have to, have 5 negative tests or whatever it is. I don't know.
I don't think it's going to be a problem. They're basically on a less than an hour drive to get here, so they'll be okay. So by the way,
they're playing.
By the way, shot beer or buy everybody. Islanders win the division now, Anthony.
Buy everyone around. I mean, Lou just went all in. He got a guy that can put the puck in the net. You got another guy who's defensively responsible and has chipped in offensively himself over the years. As long as they stay healthy now, they have the tools and firepower to match up against any team in the East.
Okay, but we want to know what you think, and we're trying to wrap this up as quickly as possible because this is breaking news. And does this make the Islanders the team to beat, or were they already the team to beat? Put everything in the comments below. Come on. All right, like, share, and subscribe. We will see you again soon, and we got more videos recapping this week coming up right now. Good night. And
did you like that video? Of course you did. So why not check out some more of our content? You can check the playlist right here or right here.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.